Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for each and every one of you to join us today. And it's going to be a very clear discussion that we are going to be having this discussion revolving around hospitality on a whole. I'm sure we would have various restaurateurs, various hoteliers, and people who are affiliated to hospitality on a whole. And it's great to have you guys here with us. I'm sure we would all be exchanging our ideas. And today we also have a veteran, Dr. Kamat, who's the co-founder and the chairperson of the Vitskamats group. Mr. Kamat has been working from an early age of 22, and we can all see where the Vitskamats group it is today here. So, Mr. Kamat, today, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for your time. And so before we start this particular discussion, I would want you to just give us a brief that 2008, when the Vitskamats group came into picture, what led to your journey to Vitskamats?
So obviously I've been in the industry a long time. I'm a third generation hotelier. Right from my granddad. I've worked extensively with my father. I've done a lot of amazing work in Orissa, a lot of the orchids that you see today. And having worked with him, I realized that India is much bigger than just five-star hotels. And there's a huge need for F&B brands like Kamat's, Urban Dhaba that we have. There's a huge need for mid-market hotel chains across India, which not just have excellent rooms, but also have excellent F&B, because most of the other chains that tend to do mid-market hotels tend to shy away from F&B. And I think hotels is a lifestyle product. Restaurants are a lifestyle product. It's a part of who you are. And as people move up in life, they want to go out more. They want to enjoy more. They want to celebrate more their, what's the point of earning if you can't enjoy it? And I think post-COVID, everybody's realized that. So
absolutely,
that's in a nutshell, when I realized that that's what I need to go ahead and do. And then I've been focusing on this segment since 2008. And then, finally, it all came together. And today we have more than 20 hotels, more than 50 restaurants. So it's going great.
Yeah. Well, I see the number of restaurants, and compared to the hotels, they're much more. And I'm pretty sure that it would give you an enormous amount of confidence when you run so many restaurants, standalone restaurants. Because restaurants, the culinary experience is something that I would say it's really artistic. A man really thrives to puts in a lot to get a dish on the table. And I'm pretty sure, so what I wanted to ask you is that does being a restaurateur really help you stand out as a hotelier as well?
It does. So when we position Wits, Wits is the only mid-market hotel chain, the only four-star hotel chain, which is focused on F&B. It's a F&B centric hotel chain. We have great restaurants, we have great banquets, we have great F&B, and we focus and play around that. We have multiple food festivals throughout the year at many of our restaurants. We'll get international and national chefs. I want to stress here, many people say we get international. I think we are sometimes so enamored by all things foreign that we forget that we have also amazing food. And if you see our latest brand, Kamat's Legacy, where it's upmarket South Indian food, we are serving items which people didn't even know existed. Right from our top selling item like benne dosa, we have one particular vegetable which we have introduced, which is made from the flowers of the banana tree.
Wow.
Okay. And in South, it's a big hit. It has very masculine properties and is a very big hit with everybody who eats it. So there are so many amazing items which people have kind of forgotten. Benne dosa, or
as a country we are rich.
Yes, we are rich culturally. We are rich heritage as well. We are extremely rich monetarily wise. I think we have just not utilized our strengths well.
All right. So that means you've gone local to a huge extent.
Yes, I think, like I said, I think that there's a lot that people don't know or they have not been exposed to. For example, in Kamat's Legacy, we don't serve tea. We only have filter coffee because one is you
Alright.
don't drink. Since it's a southern-based concept, obviously people prefer coffee, and why not? There are American chains who are pushing coffee, but we are not
Right.
pushing the actual coffee that we've been having, which is much better and been there around for much longer. So I think that's what we need to explore. Even in our F&B, of course, we have. I think, but घूम फिर के लोगों को देसी खाना खाना है, लोगों को दाल चावल, बटर चिकन, बढ़िया नान, idli, dosa, these are things people घूम फिर के तो यही आते हैं.
See, I'm pretty sure the overall acceptability towards better, newer, I would not even say newer, it's basically getting back to the roots. The acceptance towards the culinary experience, the inquisitiveness for something new is even more. I would give a real good amount of credit to Instagram or all the social media platforms for that, because now people really want to do that. And it's great that, you, as you said, you do not serve tea, you serve only coffee. So there is a niche market segment that is going to be coming to you for the best coffee that you serve.
Yes. That's
great. Perfect. So moving on, we would keep some, we would basically revolve around a few set of things that we have decided for today's, as we are limited on time, we have only 1 hour, and I am pretty sure we would want to have this discussion for hours. So apart from being a restaurateur and a hotelier, you have been into teaching as well. So you have come up with your training institute.
Correct.
So a very few lines that what pursued you to move forward in the teaching background.
See, we as a group always believed in training and coaching, but I realized that the problem with our industry is that this industry is all encompassing. This is a fantastic industry where anybody can succeed. You do not need paper qualifications for this industry. You need practical knowledge. And the biggest knowledge you need is working with people. I am in fact at some level against formal college and all this, even though I've done a master's and doctorate, but I've done it. I mean, that's precisely what I'm saying. I have done it, and I can tell you that it is not of the real value which you actually get in the real world. And our academy is a completely skill-based academy with, and it's the first earn and learn program where you can complete your 12th standard, you can complete your graduation while working, both from Maharashtra State and from the Mumbai University.
So you're really focusing on skill development.
We are totally focused because that's what you need. See, you cannot become a good chef by reading a book. It's like trying to swim by being outside the water. And then one day you go in the water and you drown because all your lessons were online. How will you become a good swimmer? It's the same way with chef. It is about doing, and it's about practicing. It's about burning a couple of items. It's about making mistakes. Or anything which is skill based is about learning from your mistakes. School unfortunately teaches you all the wrong things. I believe. I sincerely believe. It tells you that there's only one right answer, but when you come to work, you realize there are many right answers. It teaches you that you need to be all by yourself. When you're doing the exam, you don't let other people copy from it. Oh, that cheating is not allowed. But when you're in work, you can ask anybody anything. You have to collaborate with other people. You have to do things together. But school is teaching you, nahi, tum akele karo. And then school also teaches you that there is only one person who knows the right answer, and that is the teacher. So you have to listen. Whereas in work, you have to be self-motivated. You have to learn to do things or get information from anywhere. So again, a fourth thing, it teaches you to be you should know everything. You have to memorize everything. But in work, you have to be a solution finder. You don't need to know all the answers. You just need to know kisse kaam karana hai ya solution kaise karna hai. So this is what skill teaches you, and this is what practical knowledge teaches you. And I went with that when we did CAS, that is Kamat Early Academy of Skill. That's what we went with. Yeah.
I think apart from medicine, which I believe is the only place wherein you've got practical and theoretical experience at the same time, you're working with the same principle of having both theoretical and practical knowledge. Great, sir.
Yeah. Look at anybody who's in our industry. Look at the earlier GMs 30, 40 years ago. They've come up through the ranks, same with restaurateurs. It used to be a pride.
Right.
Yeah, for any GM or any restaurant manager, anybody to say, मैं भी तेरे जैसे था और मेरे को पता है पूरा काम. अभी देखो मैं कहाँ पहुँच गया. And that's the inspiration for people to stick around and make this a career, that they can do it by themselves on their ability.
Absolutely. So, sir, moving on, I would say yes. Now, as a hotelier, what are those sort of threats you currently see the scenario as, in comparison to the human resource challenges that we are currently facing, the technological advancements, the consistent change in the tax reforms or the regulatory reforms? What, as a hotelier, do you think are the major challenges that you face right now?
Some of them you mentioned very well, and I can touch upon a few of them also. When you talk about human resources, obviously, I think conceptually this industry has always been perceived as a slogging industry where you just slog, and I think that hoteliers need to show this career path to people that this is how you can go up. I think simple things that hotels can do is to focus on hiring from within, making programs or encouraging your existing team members to take up programs which might be sponsored by the hotel or part sponsored by the hotel or the restaurant for career advancement of the individual. So then there's a stickiness for the individual to grow. So I think that's something that anybody can do very simply. The problem is that many owners feel that यार अरे सिखा के कुछ मतलब नहीं है, ये लोग तो बाद में छोड़ के ही जाते हैं. The point is it's like exercise. It's not about, oh, by doing exercise, what will be the benefit? By not exercising, what is the damage?
Yeah,
So if
people,
you're-
manpower shortage.
yeah. So if you're not training your staff, आपका
Right.
कितना नुकसान हो रहा है वो भी आप देखो. वो छोड़ के चला जाएगा, वो बात की बात है. पर अभी जब तक है, तब तक आपका कितना नुकसान है. So I think
Absolutely.
that's where people make a mistake. As far as tax and all goes, unfortunately, our industry, even though it's the largest employment generator, 10% employment is generated thanks to hospitality and hospitality related. I mean, if you take including with travel, because today if somebody is taking a flight somewhere, he's going to stay somewhere. He's F&B, he's eating even at 35,000 feet in the air. He's eating something.
Right.
Okay, he's being served a sandwich, he's been served upma, he's being served some tea or coffee or whatever. So it is all encompassing. At the airport, at the train station, at the bus station, you need good restaurants, you need good this, you need hotels which might be of 2-star nature, 3-star nature, 5-star nature. So I think the industry is very big, but it doesn't get its due for some reason from the respective governments the way it should. And I think that is a real bottleneck. Only the states that have really done well. I mean, look at Goa today. Goa was totally dependent on two things, mining and tourism. And they were more dependent on mining. And they've completely, mining got shut after the Supreme Court order. But look at where Goa is today. Look at Kerala.
Right.
So I think
Global presence then,
yeah, it's world famous. I mean, people don't say I'm going to India, Goa. People say I'm going to Goa. The charters which are selling in Europe and in other places, they are selling Goa. Where is Goa? I don't even think half the people know where they're going. They just know where.
Right. Yeah.
So I think if we do that, most states have some small budget allocation and some state board which is doing some effort, but we don't really see that.
Yes, I think it has to be more of a synchronized approach moving forward between the governments and the tourism bodies on the whole.
True.
So now I can speak on the basis of the North. Now, it has been very lately a tax entry tax was imposed by the Himachal Pradesh tourism, right? So, and I don't think anyone was in favor. So once it was basically a unilateral decision. The stakeholders were not taken into consideration. That what impact, and we are a state which has been hit badly after the recent floods. Yeah. So the infrastructure is gone for a toss. Yeah. There has been such a pessimistic approach all around Himachal.
Correct.
The media coverage now, even the things have gotten better, but still a positive news has not been sent out.
Correct.
So the government bodies, the tourism bodies, and the other hotel bodies on a whole, they need to send out a positive message when things get better.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's things like these, they have to be raised, that the government should really think before doing something and probably taking it back later.
Correct.
Right. And such similar things, I think we have also seen under the tax reforms. So abruptly there were changes going
I think we should get input credit on restaurants and F&B, which till date is not given. I have no idea why. What is the point of, not giving input credit? So, I mean, we paid 5,000 crore in VAT so many years ago. I think it's a revenue loss for the government.
That is true. I think it's a very limited proportion of the hotels who are basically, they have specified as that as a specified premises. People who are charging tariffs of more than 7,500, but then you're ultimately charging 18% GST on that, which ultimately increases the cost to the next level.
Correct. And I think that I think I know that we have many students and things on this call. A couple of, some of them are my own colleges where I've studied. And I think for those students also, I'd like to tell that you need to come out from the mindset that 5-star is the only business, or is hospitality or hotel industry means only 5-star, or restaurants means only nightclubs and bars. There is a much larger ecosystem, and you can do exceedingly well. I always encouraged, even when I was there, and I always encourage all the caterers that try and become. You can become a GM faster of a 3 or 4-star hotel than you can of possibly a 5-star hotel, where you're just one big cog in the machine. Whereas in an independent or in a 3-4-star hotel, you can really be a decision maker or a key. You can drive the outcome of a good concept, of a good brand, of a restaurant concept, which may be very difficult in some of the larger hotels.
Absolutely. Which basically leads to my next question. I think it is how, when you're not working in a very structured organization, everything it's a bit on a flatter side, you tend to create some unique experiences.
Yes.
The guest experiences today, people want to, relish something newer. People want to, they crave for something new. And I think that is what basically drives the product life cycle. If you are consistently flat with your product and there is no newness to it, right? So you try to revamp your menu, you try to do many things just for doing something new. But when you're doing something out of the box, right, it can only be done when you're not in a very structured place.
Yeah, when you're empowered, when you've got freedom of decision making.
Yeah, when you're pushed to do that. And I think as a chairperson, you host more than 3,500 professionals, right? Such a huge team. So I think it somewhere becomes your responsibility that how you can push each and every person forward, not just monetarily, but there are so many ways in which a person would want to grow.
Correct. It's a cultural thing. I think not enough time is given on this subject. What happens in many other organizations when there's constant change from the top, and we see it with some bigger companies, listed companies. The CEO changes, the whole corporate ideology has changed. Sometimes they wanted to club one brand with something else, sometimes some brand. So every 3-5 years, it's a direction change. And places where the top has been there long, I mean, you see it with L&T, you see it with great companies or certain promoter-driven companies, at least the ideology will remain intact. Then that can seep through the entire organization. And that creates the culture of the organization, which then becomes very easy to make everybody work in unison in one direction. So I think, as you rightly said, that's something that is not given enough attention.
So how do you create such unique experiences at your property, or I would say at your hotels? How do you plan to get these unique experiences into place?
So the first thing is that, one is a mindset. We empower our GMs to take on more responsibility. It's part of our cultural program. When they come in, we try and train from or keep people within, which, mind you, is very tough. For a 4-star hotel, it's very tough because there are limited 4-star chains or mid-market chains. So the talent pool is limited. And the people who are coming within growing up within your chain, they obviously aspire to be or to go into the 5-star segment once they've reached a particular level. And in that segment, typically people who are from independent hotels, or if a new area location is coming where, let's say, we don't have somebody who can move to that location or not fitting the bill at that particular time. Then when you get somebody from outside, is typically from an independent chain or independent hotel. So again, the systems or the way that they've been doing things are a little different. But what we try and do is we have a healthy mix of, these are the things which are cast in stone, and these are the 50% things that you can do it your way, or do it in the properties way, or do it.
So you utilize the other skill set as well.
Yeah, we channelize that energy, because if people don't have a sense of decision making, then they don't have a sense of power. And any GM or anybody senior is looking for decision-making power and authority. Otherwise, how do you hold them responsible? So they'll say, you're holding me responsible, but I have no authority to do anything. So we have to use the judicious mix. And incidentally, what happens is most of the properties that we get, not all are cookie cutter. They have to be modified in some way. So
Right.
that also gives a little bit scope where you can do as per the market.
Perfect, sir. So, and do you really think, sir, that apart from these, so how does the technology part in a hotel? So the hospitality sector on a whole has seen a huge reform as far as technology is considered, from the very OTA, in regards to the OTAs, channel managers coming in, then the property management systems, and the PMS is evolving on a whole, moving from a server-based system to almost all this PMSs have been moving to the cloud-based systems now.
Correct.
Right. So constantly, and now you have a lot of two-way APIs going on. So how do you think these technological advancements have helped you?
So I think entire technology is just an enabler. I do not see technology replacing anything substantial. Let's take an example of HR. Today, you can immediately take interviews of people, which earlier was difficult because purely telephonic interview had its own limitations. Now with video call, you can take interviews faster. You can screen people a lot more. But does that mean the interview process has gone? Not at all. So similarly here, booking might have become easier, but the hassle of getting your luggage from the airport, having a good driver wait at the right location, all these things are not changing. So the experience of the guest will get altered, but nothing is going to get eliminated. It might be easier for you to see a digital menu in your room with a photograph. Okay. Right. And you can see the portion size, or you'll know that, okay, can 2 people eat? If we order this, 2 people ke liye theek hai, ya 3 logo ke liye theek hai, that might be it. But is it going to stop you from ordering? Not at all. Is the room service itself changing? No.
Right.
So I think these are the things which will just get altered a little, but not completely get eliminated. And when you're talking about booking and revenue management and all, so we used to have an in-house revenue management team. And today our entire thing is remotely done, and that goes with certain other facilities. I think you should stick to what you do best, and whether it be like this PMS. I mean, why would you want to develop your own software? There are exceedingly good PMSs out there who are
absolutely. You would not want to put up so much cost into one product.
Yeah, and it's of no use.
Yeah, but sir, do you really think that technology on a whole has led to a lot of transparency? Speaking from the point of a customer, your reliance upon, let's say, only the travel agents on a whole, don't you think it has gone down drastically?
See, the reliance on the travel agents has gone down, but the reliance on the online travel agents has gone up. So
yes, correct. The reliance
you are being strong-armed by the offline agents. Now the online travel agents are strong-arming you with their commissions or whatever. I mean, I'm saying this in lighter. I'm sure there are a lot of we all make my trip and all are good.
See, absolutely. I think there has to be a blend, right?
Yeah. So,
the user experience goes better now with good booking engines coming in. Now the hoteliers, basically, even the smaller hotels, now the bigger 5 stars, they always had the resources to get the best technology in place. But for standalone properties, 3 stars and 4 stars and single standalone properties, the technology cost has come down because it's now available to the masses. Now it gives a greater user experience for any particular hotel, for any particular customer to just go onto the website and do the reservation on the booking engine. So they have gone better.
True, but like it's the other way around also. I mean, I can tell you with most of the small hotels, and we get a lot of inquiries, for hotel management, leasing, and things and all. And when we evaluate, especially from the hotel management, I mean, we are a little bit fussy about, and I'm proud to say this. I mean, I'm not in the numbers game, that I have so many this and all. We like to work with good hotels. We like to work with good owners. When it comes to hotel management, when it comes to a lease, it really doesn't matter. But what happens is that, some of these small hotels that I've seen, and I have other, I keep doing my research. The smaller hotels, the technology has become available, but they don't have anybody in the hotel who understands or can use the technology.
So there's a problem with the vision and the approach.
Yes, and what happens is they want, because of his cost structure, he's looking at 7,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, 12,000 rupees might be the guy at the front desk. Okay, maybe 15,000 rupees. He doesn't have a fancy front office manager who can manage the thing, who can upload the rates, who understands proper photography, sequencing. They sometimes don't want to spend good money on photography, and good photography costs money. It's a one-time investment. Today your entire property is being seen on the standardized screen. So it's very important that good photography be there. But they think, 50,000, 1 lakh rupiya khali photograph nikalne ka. They think they can remove it, and so these are things which they are not aware of. They don't want to spend on it, and vice versa, they suffer. So while the technology has become available to everybody, is the use become more adopted? Not at all.
I think this is where and when partners and like people from the hospitality sector and even the local hotel bodies, they can really arrange some training programs, because only then people and not would come forward and they would understand that how the reliance on the human resource part, it becomes lesser. Technology does help any hotelier move forward, make a quicker decisions, and even prevent mistakes from being done. You do not have, now you just mentioned your revenue reports, right? So you do not really have to wait for the end of the month for your numbers to come out. With a good PMS, you generally would know your purchases, you would know your sales figures, and you can take timely actions.
That's true, but that's true. I mean, depends. I don't check every day. There are people who like to check every day and all that.
Right.
I think that's my GM's job. So I just see the other reports.
Absolutely.
So I mean, of course, what you're saying is true. I think it all depends. I mean, today you can see every single CCTV, but do you want to waste your time seeing every CCTV? It's a call you'll have to make.
Great. Moving forward, sir. My next question revolves around something that we have been discussing lately, reading a lot about in the national media. It's around sustainable practices, things how we can really contribute towards. We would not want to leave the footprint, what sort of ecosystem we currently are in. So how do you think we on a whole can make things better? What sort of sustainable practices do you in your chain prefer, or you have initiated that have made a change?
See, sustainable practices today, let me tell you very honestly, things that were novel, it's like the elevator, or it's like room service. I don't think many people know that room service was introduced by a hotelier called Statler. We don't even read about him. In fact, he introduced many new things in hospitality, including making hotels, temporary hotels for convention center. He was the pioneer of that. I'm talking about more than 80 odd years ago he started service. People are not aware that originally when it was hotels, 100% occupancy meant every bed is occupied. So they would sell you the bed, not the room. So you would be sleeping with a stranger in some sense in the hotel. Just like in earlier restaurants, they would sell you a space, and if it was a casual restaurant, you would sit with somebody else, which again has come back as a trend, mind you, which is called
absolutely tables. It is coming back, right?
Yeah, community tables. So and if you wanted to be alone, then you would take a single room. Today the concept of single room is completely eliminated. There is no concept of a single room, meaning where it's just one bed.
I think Japan is the only one I would have stayed at. Yeah.
Right. So we're coming back to your question about technology and disruption. Again, it's I believe that was a question, right, about technology and
it was, yes. See, even it was more about the sustainable practices that.
I'm sorry. Yes. Yeah. So sustainable. So why I mentioned these particular things was these things were innovative at that time, which has become regular, and sustainable practice also are like that. We have been doing vermi composting, zero garbage, not using plastic, using only potted plants instead of cut plants, using paper which doesn't have bleach, which is eco-friendly paper. So things like that are things which maybe some hoteliers are doing, or some which other hoteliers are not doing. But things like today, trying to reuse your linen to save water and save bleach, this has become an industry-wide practice, sustainable practice. Not using plastic. This is now in industry-wide practice. So
Right.
a lot of practices which are novel today, especially on the sustainability front, are becoming mandatory. And whether you do it or not, it is being imposed on you because that is what is the need of the hour. STP is one common, but today rainwater harvesting STP is common, and by all the
True. Right.
municipalities it is insisted. Today, solar power in most of the states, at least 30% of your power has to come from solar, whether you
Yeah.
put it on the rooftop or you invest in some solar grid somewhere. But these, or wind power. So these sustainable practices which you are doing are there. Many of them are novel today, but we are sure that as it gets more wider and industry practice, they will become standard.
I'm pretty sure because people they have a preconceived notion about these sustainable practices being add-on burden upon them, whereas they are also of some economical benefits. You know.
Yes, yes. I think that's the
Now,
bonus. I think that's
yeah,
the bonus that you can save
the
some money
gestation
along the way.
periods on the gestation on the profits that you might earn from by installing even photovoltaic lights or solar water heating systems, or
Correct.
even saying no to single-use plastic. You
Yes.
can, if you look at the numbers, they really add up.
I mean, look at these PL lamps and LED lights. You know, at one point of time, it was considered a sustainable practice. So we are using these lights. Today, it's a given because those normal bulbs are not, like in Europe. The normal bulbs are not even available.
Right.
So it's like that.
Absolutely. Great, sir. So moving on, I would wanted to ask you about the sentimental analysis, the guest sentiment, or you would say the guest satisfaction or the feedback. How do you think that really plays a very pivotal role? And in what ways do you, as a hotelier, try and understand your guest sentiments?
So, you know, once you have a good customer profile in your mind, it's all about starts with who is your customer and what does he need. We were at one of our hotels and we were talking about our excellent rooms which are on the ground floor at Silvassa, and it's got a beautiful sit-out garden, which the team was just generally not realizing that most of the corporates who would come, they would say, no, please, we don't want the ground floor, we want a higher floor. Okay. Whereas those same rooms today are being sold to the people who are from Mumbai and from the city, basically, cities, Surat and all, for whom having a private garden is a luxury. In our balconies, we are keeping few plants and thinking, oh, we have a balcony garden. But that same attached garden with a private garden to the room is an exclusive thing, which for a corporate who's just coming back from the work and wants to go to sleep, watch some TV and go to. But for four friends from Mumbai or a group from Mumbai or from any city who's coming together, talking, chatting, drinking, spending a good time, sitting in the balcony, sitting in the garden till 4 a.m. is a luxury or an experience in itself. I mean, which friends would not like to have such a beautiful experience? So selling the right thing to the right audience is important, and that's where the aspect of the sentiment and things come up. Where if you know your customer well and what he wants, then it's very easy to capture their sentiment and to understand what keeps them happy and what makes them upset, and then you can do that on a larger scale across multiple hotels.
Absolutely. Also, sir, running so many hotels, what do you think? Do you think in-stay reviews or in-stay customers, is it very important for people to understand? Because once a guests check, generally I've seen people giving the reviews once they check out of the hotel, they're going out. But I think once a guest is gone, he's gone.
Yeah.
But if he is there and by any chance, if there is any sort of an issue a customer is facing during his stay at the property, is it important, or how can you understand the guest sentiment during the stay, and how can you basically correct it if there is some correction required?
See, normally what happens whenever you're eating at a restaurant also, somebody will just come to your table, sir, I hope everything is okay. Sir, khana acha laga. So, this is like a very, and you're like, theek hai. And you're like, okay, go boss. I'm not, come here to talk to you. I think what happens is, but certain people in your staff are always able to talk to guests well, take out from them, because I think the question is, you can read, is this person just asking me out of mere formality or genuinely inko sunna hai ki kya hai? So if you can get, traditionally we had GREs and all whose job was basically to interact with the guest and really get out the actual feedback from the guest. That was the main job. And as
Right.
you rightly said, try and solve these issues while they're still in the property. So I
Right.
think that aspect, if you can get done, and it all starts from, do you really want to listen to the guest? So
Right.
I think if you can get that coming out from genuinely from the heart, then the guest, and everybody has a gift. I always believe that everybody has some gift. You need to identify it, and if you can identify who has that gift that people feel comfortable to talk to
Right.
and give them this work, it can happen.
So it's basically a relationship building in very natural sense.
Yes.
Right. So that's a sort of personalization. So moving on to personalization. Now, today we all talk about, so you as a chain who is more into 4-star properties.
Yeah.
So what is the general inventory count that your property has?
So we are experts and specialize in hotels which are less than 100 rooms. Though we have a couple of hotels which are 100 over 100 rooms. We have one which is 170, one which is 110. But our real USP lies in hotels which are 60, 80 rooms. We even have hotels which are 35 rooms, 40 rooms. But do amazing turnover, again, because I said about our F&B focus. Our
Okay.
F&B focus allows us through restaurants, through banqueting, because see, not all these cities can take that kind of inventory. You can't make 200 rooms in a tier 2, tier 3 city which doesn't have that kind of corporate or this thing movement.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you will probably fill up 50, 70 rooms only when there's an election in that town. Other times there's 20, 30 rooms. It's a big thing.
All right. So what do you think? Do alternative stays coexist or compete?
I think alternative stays, for the price conscious traveler, perhaps it competes. But I think hotels will always have a USP which they are not possibly encashing in entirety. So, see, abroad what happens is breakfast is not a component. Why in India alternate stays have not done so well? Bungalows have done well, but Airbnb could not crack the Indian market as well. Because when people are spending a particular amount in a hotel in India, लोगों को लगता है कि भाई breakfast तो हमारा जन्म सिद्ध हक है, breakfast तो मिलना ही चाहिए और अच्छा तगड़ा खाएंगे, and पूरा जो घर पे नहीं मिलता है वो अच्छे से खाएंगे, ये खाएंगे, fruit वाला कर्ड खाएंगे, ये खाएंगे, डोसा भी खाएंगे, इडली भी खाएंगे, but we don't get it at home.
Right.
So that aspect is not there in a apartment stay in a city.
But sir, looking at the numbers, how they've come in, the way the alternative stays are growing, the profitability the alternative stays are able to derive, and the overall revenue. I mean, the profitability wherein you are charging probably as high as what leading brands are. There are a lot of companies, and they are only thriving upon the alternative stays in the name of personalized experiences, right?
See, as I said, when it comes to bungalows and when it comes to certain other stays, they are competing. I'm talking about apple for apple. Somebody having a unique bungalow itself is a unique experience, and you can't take away from that. So I wouldn't, but obviously, then you need 8-10 people. You need a group to go and enjoy something like that. So I think each is going to have its own market and own niche. I don't think. Today is not a day of competition of anything. Today is a day of cooperation with everything. So you need to understand what others are doing better and learn how to cooperate with how the things are changing. You can't say that,
So you say there is a lot that can be learned even from the hoteliers on a whole can learn from alternative stays. Things can be adapted. Yeah.
Yes. They've learned from us. They realize that, people don't want to come to a bungalow if there's no caretaker. So they added a caretaker. They've added breakfast. They've added, you can choose your own meal while you're in the hotel. You tell us dinner, you tell us during lunchtime what you want for dinner. The person will go and get it. And it's included in your thing. They've come out with limited small menus and all. So they realize, let's like hotels, let's give a little bit of service and we can charge more. So they've learned from us. I don't see why we should not learn from them.
Absolutely. So another extension to this is, do you think it's really important for a hotelier to establish and identify the target audience first before they even come up with a property?
Most hoteliers in India right now are people who have some land or had some land, and based on that, एक पुश्तों की जगह है,
Right.
already somehow linked. We are not yet in that market where professionals are making the hotel. Oh, let's do a feasibility study and this thing, and this plot has been bought specifically for a hotel. It's typically that this land was there. We are in some other business and we made the hotel. Now either you run it yourself, or you give it to somebody else to run. Okay, so we are not yet having that professionalized hoteliers. Most of the people, or most of the people passing out from catering college, I don't know how many of them will eventually end up making their own hotel. Either they're from a hoteling family, but
Okay.
whether they will construct a hotel, I don't know. So
Right.
to answer your question, I mean, that's where I think we need to think about how many people are going to identify their target audience and make it. आपका
Because
जगह है,
it could also be for restaurateurs also. Because for a restaurant, I see
yeah,
right now, especially the metro cities, booming with outlets here and there. So one road will have at least 10 new outlets in a couple of months.
yeah,
And I tend to disagree to what is happening. But everyone is basically looking at each other. People
yeah,
don't find their uniqueness,
yes,
right? Something they're actually great at. And great food is about good, passionate chefs. And you're right, sir. A degree or a diploma does not matter. Basically, food is all about it's an art.
yeah.
So how do you think? Do you think for a restaurant, it is important to identify that, even if you want to introduce something new?
Yeah, I always say so. Food is an art that comes straight from the heart.
Correct.
Okay, and that's why your mother's food, everyone's mother's food always, or anyone you go to somebody else's house also, their mom's food always tastes so good because
Yeah,
the
as
mother's
hoteliers, I
food.
think we crave for hotel for
Yeah,
home food.
correct. So it, because it comes straight from the heart. So
Right.
you have to develop that art skill. Why does a great painting work? Why does a great sculpture work? Because again, come from the heart. So I think yes, you should identify a market before. Don't become blind leading the blind. But sometimes it's good to take inspiration from certain concept. But definitely you want to add your own masala into it rather than totally just blind following the blind, and identifying what's really working. Sometimes what you think is working just because they're doing well, but what you think is working may not be working for the reasons that you think it's working.
Right.
So, you might think that, a bar or a nightclub or a restaurant, let's say a restaurant is doing great because of, you might think, oh, the food is great, but it may actually be that they have all the right connections and the right PR, which is drawing a lot of footfalls. And you don't know how many of those footfalls are paid and unpaid. Okay.
True.
So sometimes you have to go dig a little deeper. I always tell people, if you're putting money into something, why don't you educate yourself first? And today with YouTube and with books and with so many things and just talking around to people, you can get information practically for free. And if you need to, you should pay for information also. That's something that we need to get habituated to.
So you think that sufficient time should be given into before you basically decide to fall into something?
Yes, people are literally falling into it. They should be planning to go into it, not fall into it.
Absolutely, sir. See, that's why people are following each other
Yeah.
instead of planning their lives. And that's why I would say, for all the young individuals who plan to create their future in the field of hospitality, that could be anything. And as you said, hospitality is everywhere.
Yeah.
So what piece of advice would you want to give to such individuals, your own students who might be watching right now, or a broader set of people? So what do you want to say to them?
I definitely tell them, there's a great opportunity, and there are two types of people: those who work for someone, and the second type is those who learn to work for themselves. You will know which type you are, and at different phases in your life. Sometimes I'm ready to take the risk, I'm not to take the risk. But when you do decide to work for yourself, then definitely do your research. Don't just go blindly into it. Understand, study, and understand why you want to do something. Just because uska utna chal raha hai, so I'll make something like that. But does it fit with your personality? Does it fit with the kind of person you are? Does it fit with your vision? Nightclub and restaurants and all that seem very glamorous, but is it something that you can do? Is it something that staying awake at night, handling the cops, doing setting, doing this, that is something you can do? Then you should open a pub or a nightclub. Are you in that kind of circle? Do you have that kind of people? So like, I always knew I'm not interested in that kind of thing. So I'm very happy and passionate about it. I of course enjoy going to a good nightclub or a good lounge or a good bar and restaurant and having a good drink and dancing and all, but that doesn't mean that I want to own it. I'm very happy being in the space that I am, with obviously Kamat's legacy, Urban Dhaba and Wits and all. So understanding what is your personal type, what works with your vision, your culture is more important.
So I'll just take a moment here. Sorry for interrupting. So
Sure.
I think there are more than 150 people watching in the live stream in the YouTube as well, which is live. So we got a question there basically, which is, I just quote that question. A lot of now been spoken about AI. Should mid-level hotel be ready to adapt? That's the question.
Even if you're not ready to adapt, it is going to happen.
It's become a necessity.
Yeah, because whatever software you're using, that software provider is going to put some AI integration. Do you really get to decide what Google does? Do you really get to decide what Microsoft is doing? Do you really get to decide what Android is putting on their phone? No, boss. If WhatsApp upgrades and now integrates AI into WhatsApp, it's there. So I don't think hotels have a choice. As I said, because eventually all hoteliers are using what the market is providing. Only few hotel chains are there who are making their own software or product. I really doubt that also, because they would also be giving it to their sister company. I mean, Tata would be giving it to TCS, but in the end, TCS would do whatever is happening overall in TCS. So nobody's really using proprietary anything.
Absolutely. And I think
integrated.
Yeah. And sir, another point that I would like to highlight is, if you want to sell a culmination of a product and a service together, basically your virtual walkthroughs along with AI, they provide a great experience, and it's going to be rather easier you don't have to sell things. You would really have to move things. The way you don't have to train a lot of people to do that. So what AI is doing is it's reducing your dependence upon human resource. One, it's increasing the scope and the way in which you can portray any product, and apart from a product, a service, because generally it's much more tougher to explain a service or to sell a service. I think it's the maximum duration it's taken to train people that how do you explain a particular service, because it's something very personalized, and AI on a whole would really help you to move that particular product to places beyond your reach.
Yeah, so I would say, I'll give an example of something that we were trying to work on, but nobody really took it forward. When we spoke to most people, we told most people, why don't you give me a recommendation engine? And I've also done a few online courses for AI, machine learning and stuff. So I said, why don't you make a recommendation engine, and we can have all the points where we know our customer, and you make a recommendation engine where when the customer comes to the restaurant, okay, and we know the customer because he'll be a regular, okay. Let's say he's a regular customer, we know what he's ordered in some other hotel or restaurant of ours, or in this particular restaurant also, and we give him a recommendation that, because you like these items normally, these are the top 5 items we feel that you might like. Okay, so that's something where AI and all can help. Okay, because the person is vegetarian, so you eliminate all the non-vegetarian items. He likes spicy food, so you kind of have that weightage given that, okay, these are the spicy food. So that kind of thing is what we were trying to work on.
Filtration is being done.
Where we can have a top 5 items, like how it shows you in Netflix, that if you like this movie, then you might like this movie. So things like that are what will enhance the guest experience.
And probably introduce him to newer peripherals as well.
Which you may not have, and the steward also may not, even if he's an old steward, he may not be so certain, because he may not have all that data. He may not know
the key ingredients.
Or he may not know that this guy is, or in the last 2 days, if the person is ordering very healthy food, then in that line only the recommendation can suggest that, okay, there's a trend here, because this person is only ordering these items which don't have ABCD. Let's say he's allergic to something, so again shortlist and put only those items, because otherwise every new restaurant you go to, that guy has to tell that, oh, I'm allergic to X or I'm allergic to Y, so please don't put so and so. So this is where AI or having that data can be, once it's input in the system, that can be used everywhere repeatedly.
Perfect.
Which is not there right now in any of these softwares, which I have been telling the PMS guys, but the PMS people are more interested in trying to say, sir, agar ye aapko kaam karna hai, to itna kharcha aayega, rather than understanding that this is something which every hotel is going to need. I mean, you're not just selling it to me. This is something which if your product has, you have an edge over any other PMS in the
It
market.
will give
today.
you a level of uniqueness in your product.
Correct, So,
I think, Vikram, this will be a feedback for me to take to my team. So thank you for this feedback.
I have many ideas. I'll share them with you. Some ideas got implemented. I had told, and some they have implemented, where I told, why does the guest need to keep giving the ID? Why don't you today DigiLocker and so many things are available. I'm not even saying to link it to DigiLocker, but you can have your own kind of mini locker within your company, where one time only the guy is driving, like he does a OTP verification for his mobile number one time. And, one time only you take the Aadhaar card and this thing, because once he's like, I mean, imagine you're opening today a stockbroking account, which earlier used to come with a thappi of forms. You had to sign in at least 150 places. And today, you just give your Aadhaar card and it's linked online. So you get the verification and you don't have to sign. So similarly, and you hold one piece of paper up, with that verification, when the number comes and you hold it. So one time you do the verification, and I think just today I read that the Jharkhand police has done something like that. I'm not sure what it is because I just read it today. But Jharkhand has done that where, you don't have to put that C form and send it to the police station and everything. Your entire thing is linked to some kind of platform where the Aadhaar number and this thing automatically goes to the police and the police can see the entire thing. And so it saved a lot of time. So I think certain ideas like this can be done, which can save a lot of time and energy for everybody involved. You have regular guests coming to you, one time only their thing is captured, and whichever hotel he goes in the chain, he doesn't need to give his ID again, so long as it's the same individual or the same mobile number or it's the same number of people that have already pre-registered.
I'm definitely, apart from the customer experience, it would definitely save a lot of paper.
So, no, lot of paper. The guy is standing at the front desk for 10 minutes. So imagine if you're a 100-room hotel in a savings every 5 minutes for everybody. Think of the efficiency of your staff.
Absolutely.
The staff, how much time they will save, how much check-in time they will save, and there is human error also is reduced. Ki, wo Xerox barabar aaya nahi, wo scan barabar aaya nahi. So you're saving a lot of time and energy.
True. So, sir, we have a question, and this is from Ankit. So he runs a 3-star hotel in Tirthan Valley. He wants to know that how can we minimize the expenses, the operational expenses in particular, as it's a very seasonal business, and during really low times, how we can make the most of it.
So, I mean, of course, this is a very wide question, and I'm giving an answer based on the limited data or certain assumptions that I'm making. But I can definitely tell you that, you need to think out of the box. I will give you an example. Abroad, most hotels, everything is on pay-per-use. For example, today, simple thing like Tata Sky or this Airtel Digital, today you don't need to, which earlier we had to take. You had to take a cable subscription for every room, irrespective of the number, how many days you occupy. Whereas today you can, if the IPL is on, you can pay 5 rupees per day and just get the IPL match for that particular day. Okay. So things like this, I mean, abroad, even the linen, even many of the items, linen is also not purchased by the hotel. When you give it for washing, the person is only giving you the bed sheet. So you don't need to own any bed sheets.
Right.
Similarly, most of the hotel equipment is all leased. So you can reduce your main cost, fixed cost is going to be staff cost. So there, if you have 2 hotels, let's say one in a very seasonal area, one in a non-seasonal area, or you tie up with some hotel which has the reverse season from you, then you can have this staff go there and this staff come here, and what you can contribute between the 2 hotels is only the accommodation, which you will take throughout the year. So these kind of things can help reduce your costs. And obviously, staffing would be the major cost. All your other running costs, like food costs and all, would obviously reduce when you're in off season. So staffing is what you need to manage. And obviously, I feel it's always better to pay more when you need something, so that you cannot pay anything when you don't need it. which is something that is which hoteliers we don't tend to do. We tend to think, nahi. So even rents, I mean, I'm pretty sure a hotel is not rented, but I'm giving you an example that abroad, even the rents, in season you pay a higher rent, and in off season you pay 50% less. So annually you're earning the same, but the cash flow is different. And I think owners are not exposed to cash flow as much as they should, or don't have that understanding that, when I have a good income, it's better to pay, even if I have to pay more, it's good, but I can cut off something when I don't need it, or when my expenses are not there.
Correct. I think this is what we have all learned, especially after the irregularities in business post-COVID.
Yeah.
COVID taught us a lot.
Vikram, with your permission, I think we want to extend it for another 10 minutes. So I think we are already exceeded your...
I didn't realize. Yes, time is flying.
It's so interesting that we are not able to see how the time is flying. So I just wanted your permission to extend it.
I'll be more than happy. I can see a lot of questions constantly coming in.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions, interesting questions that I couldn't, stop being answered by you. So
I'll try and keep the answers short so that we can get in maximum questions, because everybody would like to get their question answered. So we'll try and I'll keep the answer short, and maybe they can connect with me otherwise on some other medium, email or something later.
Sure.
But I'll keep it short for everybody, so everybody gets the benefit.
I think we will share your email ID in this chat box so
Please,
that we can reach out to you.
Yes.
Sidhant, over to you. I think we are getting questions in YouTube channel here in chat box. So Deepak has collated everything and put it in the chat box itself.
Okay.
So you can pick up the relevant ones, Sidhant, from there.
I think the next thing, what is from Mr. Deepak, it's okay. So there's the question in regards to the online data. So it says a standalone hotel needs to fulfill the compliances that will add more cost to the hotel. Yes. And since the last 2 days, around 8.81 crores of data got leaked. Okay. So
see what God only knows what is safe with the government and what is not safe. So about government data being leaked, I don't want to tell you anything. As far as the private thing goes, see, your data today is stored in various places. Even if you don't today, if you see the offline method in which your data is being stored in the hotels,
that's
they're
much
taking
more
a Xerox and
yes.
keeping. Anybody can just take a Xerox of your Aadhaar card. Anybody can take Xerox to their house. Anybody can take a photo of it and print it at home. He doesn't need to physically carry also. You might say, no, Xerox nikalega to security usko time office mein pakdega. Arey, aaj photo mein usne ye kar diya ya khud ko email kar diya, to kya? See,
the cost factor, I particularly think, plays a major role in it as well. With the help of good PMSs, everything is virtually compressed and stored in servers. And the best part is you can virtually access it from anywhere around the world, even after 10 years. You don't have to physically store it.
No, and if you have 2 hotels, you can access it across 2 hotels. So I think that is not a big issue, that the tech guys are smart enough to develop things which are encrypted and stuff. So I don't think that is a major risk to anybody. It's a bigger risk the way it's being kept right now, manually.
Right. Next, we have online reputation management, sir. So how do you deal with online reviews to keep a good reputation? This is Mr. Rahul from Pune.
So, online reputation is double-edged sword. You get some people who are a little bit nuisance. People also kind of threaten you, do this. We've also had incidents in the hotel. I'm not saying all are, and that's when the hotel and the team on ground can take a call and understands when guest has genuinely faced an issue, and when somebody is trying to make an issue out of something just to extract more value. Sometimes somebody has had a genuine issue, but the kind of compensation or the kind of expectation they have to make it right might be disproportionate to what actually happened. So I think that's where empowering the team to make it right on the spot is always better. Some individuals like this who misuse it can be taken separately.
Also, Rahul, I would suggest another thing, that with the help of any online reputation management software, it is going to become very easy for you to manage reviews at various online travel platforms. So around 40 plus OTAs plus Google, TripAdvisor, all these metas coming in, it is going to become fairly simple for you to manage it. And even a critic is not bad. Sometimes you learn. And I would particularly
Correct.
say, as a hotelier, I have learned from each and every person stepping into the property.
Super.
And you go, that is how this path begins. And it basically would help you to be regularly engaged with people. And when people read that as an owner, or I'm sure as an owner or as a person, if you're really engaged with your property and you're replying to them on a consistent basis, it gives a sense of encouragement and positivity. It sends a very positive message around.
That's true.
Yeah.
You need to be responsive. That's important. Don't let it pile up. I think that's the worst.
Correct.
I got an interesting question again here for both of you. As a hotelier, how do you stay ahead of industry? Sorry, managing and retaining top talents is crucial for hotel industry. What strategies have you employed to create a positive, supportive work culture for your staff? So this is from Abhijit from Kochi.
See, just do the basics right. 80% of a problem will be solved if you do your basics right. I can not tell you the number of hoteliers that I know that don't even pay salary on time. Okay, if you are saying 7th is the date of your company or for unit of your hotel, or if you're saying 5th or 10th or whatever the date, then that should be lifelong coming on that date. So something as basic, which I mean, it's surprising that these are the things they will talk about, but this is the fact. See, most of the hoteliers think salary is a weapon and they don't pay on time. So paying on time, having good facility for the staff, those who are providing accommodation, providing a proper accommodation. They do not be Taj Mahal, but should definitely be livable. It should be walkable distance, because staff obviously doesn't want to again pay to go far away or at night or whichever shift they are. Having good food for the staff, which owners also, I mean, I regularly eat in any of our hotels cafeterias, so that it gives a sense. We also know what is happening. Staff also is there, staff bhi khate hai. So these all things can go a long way in keeping the staff happy. Staff is also not expecting you to give them a uniform made of gold or kapda and this thing, but doing the basics right will keep them happy and will solve 80% of your problems. People think cutting a cake once in a while and celebrating their birthday and all that comes much later. Most of the people don't even do these basics right. मतलब खाना पीना रहना, खाना रोटी कपड़ा मकान, ये आपको basic तो करना है, which they don't do. I mean, kitchen में ठंडा पानी रखना for the staff, yeah, whatever. These are, especially in some of these issues, when we talk of 5-star, it is irrelevant because they are corporatized in this thing. The mid-market 3-star, 4-star hotel owners, 2-star hotel owners, where the problem of staff retention is the most, is because of these basic issues, which the owners are not paying attention to.
Mr. Kamat, yeah, absolutely, Mr. Kamat. I think you are very much right, and to an extent, I would say it's easier for a 3-star or a 4-star. I think it's an advantage as well, because it's a culture that you would want to retain in an organization. And there are monetary needs, and then apart from the monetary needs, the basics, the work culture, the overall place wherein the staff is working. If these basics are set right, I think the attrition ratio can be really worked about.
Most of the owners, you see how they talk to their staff. They talk like they are like a domestic servant. They are like your servants. Today, if you want, even if he's whoever he is, even if he's junior, you can talk to him nicely. You don't have to shout, scream, talk, use abusive language and things. So these are the basics, and this is where they get it wrong. I think you should. There's a start here. You'll get a lot of attention and need some introspection. Everybody thinks I'm doing everything right. Then why is the staff leaving you so much?
And that's true. I think that's the reason people want to go abroad. They want to travel abroad. I think better working atmosphere is there. People understand that, it's basically your people, your humans. And you basically don't own anyone. Correct. So the moment sir, look at every individual as something, everyone has their own skill set, I would say.
So, and किसी के साथ आपका जम नहीं रहा है, कोई काम नहीं कर रहा है, I feel we should, unlike in India where they think, oh no, in लोगों को निकालना, I to tell other ways, making both people suffer. You also suffering, that person also suffering. अगर नहीं जम रहा है तो निकाल दो या निकल जाओ, whatever it is. But
by
don't
peace.
Have to get aggressive. By peace. Why you have to get aggressive or this thing or it's no point in that. Spoil the environment for everybody.
Absolutely. Once you have peace, it helps you move forward, and even the other person is able to continue
Yeah.
his life. Yeah.
And you'll retain your good staff also, because they'll say, ठीक है वैसे भी कुछ काम नहीं कर रहा था, अच्छा क्या सेठ ने निकाल दिया, no? Good.
Positive environment, positivity all
Positive.
around. And sometimes in business you have to do that. Sometimes you have a bad fish, so you really need to
No, it may not
segregate.
be a
and
bad fish. I'm not even talking about कि कुछ गलती किया. Maybe just नहीं जम रहा है. What you
Correct.
expected. जितना आपको प्रोडक्टिविटी एक्सपेक्टेड था वो मेहनत कर रहा है, वो कर रहा है, बट जस्ट नहीं जम रहा है, तो क्या करोगे?
Right. Yeah.
ठीक है यार.
Okay. Perfect. So I think we do have any other question?
We can conclude, sir.
Great.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Kamat,
Thank you.
for
Thank you
giving
so
us
much.
your time, sir.
Thank you so
It
much
has
for
been a pleasure
calling, sir.
talking to you and learning a lot from you. And thank you. I would also like to thank the team from Bookingjini to give us this platform and to communicate with all of this great people around. I'm sure you would continue to do this, and we can be a part of this journey ahead.
Thank you, Sidhant. Thanks, Sivashish. Thank you all the students who were there on the call and all the other team, all the other viewers. Thank you all so much. I look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kamat, and
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.